Ladies and gentlemen, are the Philadelphia Eagles about to make a game-changing move before the NFL trade deadline? Buckle up, Philly fans, because the rumor mill is buzzing, and it's got the city of brotherly love on edge. Welcome to your go-to source for all things Eagles football. I'm your host, and today, we're diving into some sizzling trade talk that could reshape the Eagles secondary and give them a real shot at dominating the NFC East. Let's get right to it. The big news today: the Eagles, along with their archrivals, the Dallas Cowboys, are being floated as potential trade destinations for Tennessee Titans cornerback Roger McCreary, a young, promising talent with a $9 million price tag. This isn't just water cooler chatter. This could be the spark Philly needs to solidify their defense and make a serious run for the playoffs. So, what's the deal with McCreary, and why are the Eagles in the mix? Let's break it down. First, the situation. The Eagles' secondary has been a bit of a roller coaster this season. Injuries to cornerbacks Jacorian Bennett and Adoree Jackson have left some gaps, and rookie safety Andrew Mukuba? Well, let's just say he's been learning the NFL ropes the hard way, earning one of the lowest grades among safeties from Pro Football Focus. Ouch. Meanwhile, down in Dallas, the Cowboys are in an even worse spot, dead last in the league for passing yards allowed. Only the Bengals have given up more passing touchdowns. Talk about a defensive nightmare. Both teams are desperate for a boost in the secondary, and with the trade deadline looming, the clock is ticking. Enter Roger McCreary, a 25-year-old cornerback who's been a bright spot on a struggling Titans team. Drafted 35th overall in 2022, McCreary hasn't exactly set the world on fire in Tennessee, but let's be real. Playing on a Titan squad that's scraping the bottom of the NFL barrel doesn't give you much to work with. Still, the guy's got upside. This season alone, he's racked up 30 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and an interception in 7 games, earning a respectable 67.6 grade from Pro Football Focus. Not elite, but solid, and at 25, he's got room to grow. The Titans, staring down a rebuild and with McCreary headed for free agency in 2026, might be ready to cash in on him for a draft pick, maybe a 4th-rounder, according to Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox. Now, let's talk Eagles. Picture this: McCreary sliding into the nickel corner spot, freeing up rising star Cooper DeJean to move outside. Adoree Jackson, bless his heart, hasn't been cutting it, even when healthy. McCreary could be an instant upgrade, bringing some much-needed stability to a secondary that's been tested by injuries. Imagine the roar at Lincoln Financial Field when McCreary picks off a pass from Daniel Jones or Dak Prescott. Philly fans, you know you'd be chanting, "Fly Eagles fly," at the top of your lungs for that one. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Why would the Eagles pull the trigger on this trade? For one, head coach Nick Sirianni and GM Howie Roseman are no strangers to bold moves. Roseman's been wheeling and dealing for years, building a roster that's kept the Eagles competitive since their unforgettable 2017 Super Bowl run. Yep, the one where Nick Foles outdueled Tom Brady for Philly's first and only Lombardi trophy. That victory over the Patriots, 41-33, still gives Eagles fans goosebumps, doesn't it? Fast forward to 2025, and this team's got the pieces to make another deep playoff push. Jalen Hurts slinging dimes, A.J. Brown hauling in highlight reel catches, and Devonta Smith proving he's a legit WR1. But the secondary? It's been the Achilles heel. A guy like McCreary could be the missing puzzle piece. Let's dive deeper into the tactical side. The Eagles' defense, under coordinator Vic Fangio, thrives on versatility. Fangio loves cornerbacks who can cover, tackle, and adapt to multiple roles. McCreary fits the bill. At 5 feet 11 inches and 190 pounds, he's got the size to handle bigger receivers, and his 30 tackles this season show he's not afraid to get physical. Pair him with Darius Slay, a 3-time Pro Bowler who's still locking down top receivers at 34, and suddenly the Eagles' pass defense looks a lot scarier. Plus, with young talent like Cooper DeJean developing, McCreary could be the bridge to a long-term solution in the secondary. Now, let's compare this to the Cowboys situation, because you know Philly fans love sticking it to Dallas. The Cowboys' secondary is a mess. Trayvon Diggs and rookie Siobhan Revel are banged up, and their pass defense is hemorrhaging yards. McCreary could be a lifeline for them, maybe even a long-term starter alongside Darren Bland, who, by the way, had that jaw-dropping 68-yard pick-six against Marcus Mariota earlier this season. But here's the kicker. The Cowboys and Titans already made a trade this year. Swapping linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr., could that open the door for another deal? Maybe. But Philly fans, You don't want McCreary in a Cowboys jersey, do you? That's a sight worse than a Dallas star on your cheesesteak. Historically, the Eagles have been savvy at addressing defensive needs. Remember when they brought in Brian Dawkins, the heart and soul of the franchise, who redefined what it meant to be a safety in Philly? Or how about Reggie White, the Minister of Defense, who terrorized quarterbacks in the 80s and 90s? Those legends set the standard for Eagles defense, and while McCreary's not at that level, he could follow in their footsteps as a reliable contributor. Statistically, the Eagles' pass defense ranks middle of the pack this season, allowing about 220 yards per game. Not terrible, but not championship caliber. McCreary's addition could drop that number and give Hurts and the offense more breathing room to do what they do best: light up the scoreboard. Let's bring in a fictional expert for some perspective. I caught up with longtime Eagles analyst Ray Didinger, who had this to say: "Look, the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender, but they can't keep playing musical chairs in the secondary. McCreary's young, he's hungry, and he's got the kind of upside that could thrive in Vic Fangio's system. If Howie Roseman can snag him for a fourth-round pick, that's a steal." Fans at the Link seem to agree. I overheard one diehard in a Jalen Hurts jersey outside Pat Steaks: "Man, we need someone to shut down those Cowboys receivers. McCreary could be our guy." What's the bigger picture here? If the Eagles land McCreary, it's not just about this season. It's about building a defense that can compete with the NFL's elite, like the Chiefs, the 49ers, or even the resurgent Lions. The NFC East is a dogfight, with the Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders all vying for supremacy. Philly's 4-3 record through 7 games puts them in the hunt, but they're chasing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC playoff picture. A stronger secondary could be the difference between a wild card exit and a deep playoff run. Let's talk pop culture for a second. The Eagles are more than a team, they're a Philly institution. From the "Fly Eagles Fly" chant echoing through the streets to Will Smith name-dropping the team in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, this franchise is woven into the city's fabric. And let's not forget the 2018 movie Creed 2, where Adonis Creed sports an Eagles cap while training in Philly. If McCreary joins the squad, you can bet he'll be embraced as a hero, especially if he picks off a pass against Dallas in Week 17 at the Link. That's the kind of moment that'd have Rocky Balboa himself cheering from the sidelines. Looking ahead, what's next for the Eagles if they make this trade? For one, it signals they're all in for 2025. Jalen Hurts, fresh off a 2024 season where he threw for over 3,500 yards and 22 touchdowns, is playing at an MVP level. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are one of the NFL's best receiver duos, combining for over 1,800 yards this season. And don't sleep on Saquon Barkley, who's been a revelation in the backfield, averaging 5.2 yards per carry. With Jason Kelce retired but still a vocal presence in Philly, the team's got the leadership and talent to make noise. Adding McCreary could lock down the defense and give Hurts more possessions to work his magic. But here's a prediction: if the Eagles don't snag McCreary, they'll still make a move before the deadline. Howie Roseman's too crafty to sit still. Maybe they target another corner, or perhaps they bolster the defensive line to complement Haason Reddick and Josh Sweat. Either way, expect fireworks. As for McCreary, if he lands in Philly, I'm calling it now. He'll have at least 2 interceptions by season's end, including one that seals a crucial divisional win. Before we wrap up, a quick Eagles trivia moment. Did you know "Fly Eagles Fly" was written in 1958 by Charles Borelli and Roger Cortland? It's been the team's anthem ever since, and there's nothing like 70,000 fans belting it out at the Link after a touchdown. That's the kind of energy McCreary could be walking into, a fanbase that lives and breathes Eagles football, ready to welcome him as one of their own. So, Philly fans, what do you think? Is Roger McCreary the answer to the Eagles' secondary woes, or should Howie Roseman look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts on X, and let's keep this conversation going. The trade deadline is just around the corner, and the Eagles' next game against the Cincinnati Bengals is this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to see if Jalen Hurts and company can keep the momentum going. Until then, keep your eyes on the skies, because the Eagles are ready to soar. Fly, Eagles, fly.